Yes, anti-Donald Trump and Elon Musk protests have broken out all across the United States this weekend. Huge protests. It's amazing to see just how many people there are. And you can see this headline here from Rolling Stone. Anti-Trump protesters assemble in every state and cities worldwide. And it says down there it's the hands-off protest. So it's organized, but not sure people thought it would be this big. It's been an incredible week with the tariffs being put on with Trump and Elon Musk. That's continuing. Hi, I'm JJ. Welcome to the channel. This is a new channel, The Art of Value Politics. If you're here from the main channel, The Art of Value, welcome. This is the very first video on the channel. So I'm putting videos here that don't seem to fit over there, that are more broadly politics. Broad politics videos haven't really worked over there, so I'm starting a new channel for it. And this, I think, is a good start, a good place to start with protests breaking out here. Let's see this just quick news report and see what's been going on.
Good evening. I'm John Yang. Across the country and around the world today, tens of thousands of people turned out for what organizers say has been the biggest single day of protests against President Trump and his second-term policies and actions. In this country, more than 1,000 rallies were planned in small towns and major cities from coast to coast. Ali Rogan begins our coverage.
So I've got more coverage of Washington, D.C. The protests were huge there. We'll have a look at this in a minute. Let's just see what they've got to say.
In Washington, crowds descended on the National Mall, calling for lawmakers to rein in President Trump.
He's right now destroying our economy. He's taken away all of our allies. We're a pariah in the world. And Congress sits back and does nothing.
The mass protest, dubbed the Hands-Off National Day of Action, was organized by advocacy groups that oppose the president's policies during his first term. Protesters railed against Mr. Trump's recent moves to lay off scores of federal workers, revoke protections for immigrants, and implement sweeping tariffs. But for Democratic leaders, the president's threat to democracy took center stage.
Yes, we've seen many things happen, and I think Trump thought that he could get away with this, but really the people are rising up already. It's just the first few months of the regime, and Elon Musk has been gaslighting people, saying that everybody likes him. He must be seeing all these signs and placards around saying we hate you and to stop doing the Doge. And so they'll be really surprised at this. I wanted to get this video out because it's just astonishing. Look at that picture from different cities. This, Trump's famous for saying, oh, the crowd was huge at his inauguration and different events that he's had. But this is truly huge, and he will be seeing this. He'll probably say that it's just a small protest, and Elon Musk will, diminish it, will minimize what's going on here. But you can see Boston, New York, Chicago, Portland, San Francisco, San Diego, Idaho, Utah, and Oakland. If you're listening to this rather than watching it, you really do need to watch this, but this crowds are pretty incredible. Now, this was Washington, D.C. Look at that. I mean, when was the last time you saw a protest crowd that big? It's pretty incredible that people came out. And this is in Utah. This is the first image I saw online today. And I immediately wanted to make this video because this is Utah. Look how big the crowd is here. Isn't it quite a conservative state? Let's see, just panning around the crowd here. Can't really hear what they're saying there. So we'll just pan around the crowd. Look how big that crowd is. This is in Utah. It does look beautiful there with the mountains in the background. I have been there, and it's a great place in the mountains. Look at that crowd. It's huge. It's absolutely huge. Amazing. And so this is in Chicago. Look at that. So there's just big crowds, just not in one or two places, but all over. Happening now, this tweet on X said a massive protest is taking place in downtown Chicago for the hands-off movement against Elon Musk and Donald Trump. I'm going to do a video about this. I think tomorrow is on the other channel as well, on the Art of Value, specifically about Elon Musk. But these protests are about the Trump administration, and of course Elon Musk is right in there. Here's another one. Literal marches against Nazi going on all over the US. I prefer to say fascist because Nazi has, different connotations, and people kind of just blow it off when you say that, but really they are. It's turning fascist, and I think people are seeing this, starting to see this. Wow, 10,000 people, 10,000 plus people marching through Providence, Rhode Island in the freezing rain for the hands-off protest. So absolutely all over the place. It's incredible stuff. And look at this. This, I believe, is in Boston. Let's just listen in on this. There's a news helicopter, I guess, or a drone.
At Boston, Massachusetts now, as we check back in on one of our top stories, anti-Trump protests taking place across the country today after a tumultuous week, to say the least, on Wall Street and the economy. We want to point out, just a few minutes ago, we did show you a protest. We said it was Boston. It was not Boston. It was an unrelated protest. But what you are looking at right now is Boston, and I'm from there. Wow. I can recognize this. This is the plaza right outside of City Hall.
That is absolutely huge crowd. Incredible. Trump will be worried. And here, this next post, thousands of protesters in Boston for today's hands-off protest against the Trump-Musk regime. See how they mention Musk and Trump in the same? I've seen, I saw a historian who is an historian in autocracy, authoritarian regimes, Timothy Snyder. You'll know some of his work, even if you don't know who he is. You'll probably know some of his statements. And he calls it the Trump-Musk regime in his blog that he's been writing. Look at that crowd. Look at that. It's astonishingly huge, so it's great. It's great that people are coming out. People understand that this is sliding quickly towards fascism. People getting on the streets really quickly. It's absolutely encouraging to see.
This crowd stands against President Donald Trump and billionaire Elon Musk.
We will not be silenced.
Their message is hands off.
Hands off!
So hands off democracy. They're mucking around with it, especially Elon Musk. Definitely seeming like they're wanting to destroy the government institutions from within.
A protest against
Look at
the
that crowd.
administration's actions to cut government jobs, shutter agencies, deport immigrants, impose tariffs, and more.
I am concerned about people being kidnapped off the streets and shipped to hellhole prisons. I am concerned.
That's what we saw. That's what we saw last week. People being shipped off to El Salvador with no due process whatsoever. People, I think, got really alarmed at that. I just jumped forward in the hair a bit. I'll go back.
Doesn't care about people.
Things are being defunded. People are losing their jobs. Just really terrible things are happening in this country.
There's something that every single person in America cares about that these people are attacking.
This is one of more than 1,200 demonstrations happening all over the country. There are protests in all 50 states. Here in
1,200 protests, incredible.
Chicago, Daily Plaza is overflowing. After speeches, the people here will hit the pavement to march.
Look at this crowd. I haven't seen a crowd this big. This is great.
The crowd in Chicago marches about a mile. As miles away, hands-off protests take place.
There you go. It was even in the suburbs. And this is also Chicago. This is in this, I guess, the center. I've never been to Chicago, but I do believe this is right in the center. Let's have a look at this video. You saw a screenshot, now a video. Just a quick video. Look at that. I mean, this is not... this is real. You can't fake a big protest like this. And Elon Musk says... He started saying that all these protesters are being paid. He said that in Wisconsin when he was buying the judicial election there. There's no way that these protesters are being paid. In fact, there was signs saying we're doing this for free. I've seen that. Here is in Washington, D.C.
Who have the politics of Mussolini and the economics of Herbert Hoover. But now what, Elon Musk? And the Silicon Valley billionaire mafia.
Billionaire mafia. So it's talking the PayPal mafia, we could say, but people realizing, did you hear that? People realizing that it's slipping into authoritarianism with these tech billionaires, including Elon Musk. I've talked about Peter Thiel as well, who actually do make no secret of the fact that they don't really like democracy. They think it's incompatible with freedom, but what they mean is their freedom. Look at that crowd. It's a huge crowd. Incredible. It's awe-inspiring, really. So here we have Elon Musk doesn't have to pay us $1 million to show up and fight for our democracy. Hands off 2025. That's in Boston again. So again, this accusation of people getting paid, you can't pay that many. It would be obvious if people were being paid. That's if Elon comes out with that. It's just ridiculous at this point. So this is in New York City. Look at this. It's incredible. Look at that. People showing up there for the Tesla protests over the past few weeks. The New York crowd outside the showroom there was one of the most impressive protests. So I'm not surprised to see that. And let's see what Senator Raskin says about this. I believe it's Raskin.
Our founders wrote a constitution that does not begin with "we the dictators." The preamble says, "We the people."
The movement spread far beyond the nation's capital. From the sidewalks of South Bend to downtown Boston and New York City, demonstrators took to the streets in protests both big and small to oppose President Trump's agenda.
Yep, so that's PBS reporting that, and we'll have a look at some pictures from the protests here. I went through and saw this. These are from Reddit. This one's from Reddit. My favorite sign from today: they're eating the checks, they're eating the balances, and there's some Pac-Man characters there, and no kings, no slaves, no Nazis there. So to the point, and people really trying to get their message across. Here's another one that's from Fox News that somebody commented on. Anti-Trump graffiti spree, a sign of emerging alt-left liberal activist, says Fox News, or an activist says, but Fox News really implying that. And somebody says back, that graffiti doesn't even mention Trump, so it's no fascist USA. But it's interesting that you are willing to admit that fascism, though. So they assuming that is about Trump. And somebody here, this was actually a video, hands off democracy. She was yelling out the window for Elon Musk to go home, to go back to South Africa, where he did spend his childhood, and then went to Canada and then to the US, and came in illegally, as his brother Kimball admitted in an interview. And this placard, guilty, wanted for treason, Donald Trump, because he's not about democracy. It's becoming obvious. All these people on the streets. And this one, Trump must be stopped from installing a dictatorship. There's another Reddit post. And so Lev Parnas says, if you don't know who that is, you can look it up. He says, for 5 years, I've warned you. I hate to say I told you so. I said if Donald Trump ever got back in office, he'd do everything in his power not to leave. So this is Trump 2.0, quite different from the first one. He does seem more brazen, more confident. And Lev goes on, now it's unfolding. My sources say it's more serious than ever. They're laying the groundwork. Steve Bannon and others are pushing it. Trump's inner circle has had discussions, real plans to make this happen. He's dead serious. This isn't a joke. So having a third term, which would be, imagine the protest if that happened. He must be seeing this. Elon Musk there helping him too. So I'm sure, Curtis Yarvin is one of the people that these tech billionaires follow, and he straight out says it. He said it in public interviews, in a New York Times interview, about that he wants a dictator, that Americans should get over this democracy, democracy thing that they've held on to. And now they want a CEO, which is basically Elon Musk and Trump as the chairman of the board. They want to run it like a company and install it and have third terms and all that. So people pushing back, people not standing for this. Another Reddit post, the left is in retreat. Bless his sweet little cotton socks. So this was Congressman Brandon Gill. The tide is turning, he says. The left is in retreat. We are winning, but there's still so much more to do. Put the pedal to the floor. And somebody replies back, Ryan Sheed replies back, you pussies won't even show up to your own town halls, and you think that the left is retreating. That's true. I've shown footage on the other channel of town halls, people showing up to town halls, GOP town halls, and they're being shouted down. people really protesting, and they stop having town halls because of this. It's pretty incredible for him to say that. And this here says it all. I'm not sure what this is. It's like a mailer. Number 1, do not obey in advance. So this is from Timothy Schneider. If you don't know, I think his book on tyranny, where he lays out 20 points, I think it is, of when authoritarian comes, what to do, how to push back against it, how to recognize it. And one of them is not to obey in advance. People tend to, in the early stages of authoritarianism, and you're seeing this, I call these people the evangelicals, who just worship Elon Musk, and Trump's the same. And so people around him and people will maneuver and basically do what they think that the regime wants, and that is not to obey in advance, to basically do it. So he says it's showing power what they can do. When people do that, just sort of lay down and actually help them out when they should be pushing back. That is what that is about. And so that, I'll leave you with that. If you have got value out of this video, on the first one on the politics channel, on the Art of Value Politics channel, do hit the like button and subscribe. Do subscribe here. We're at 0, starting from absolute 0. The other channel's got nearly 50,000 subscribers, or well into the 40s. So I'm really grateful for that. But do subscribe here. Let's get this channel going too. If you're interested in wider politics like this, I think it's a good one to start with, protests breaking out. So hit that subscribe button. And thanks for watching this first one, and I'll see you in the next one.